Hey everyone, and welcome back. We've got some huge news today that could hit your wallet hard or give you a little relief. We're talking about Social Security, and if you're collecting benefits or you're planning to retire in the next few years, you need to hear this. Three big changes are coming in 2026, and a recent survey found that most Americans don't even know they're happening. So, let's cut through the noise and get you up to speed. Fasten your seatbelts because this affects millions of you and it's happening sooner than you think. First up, let's talk about your benefits getting a little boost. Every year, Social Security tries to keep your payments in line with rising prices. It's called a cost of living adjustment, or COLA for short. Think of it as your annual raise to fight inflation. Now, get this. More than two-thirds of adults surveyed actually think Social Security isn't protected against inflation. That's just plain wrong. It absolutely is. Here's the scoop for 2026. Experts are forecasting a COLA of about 2.7%. That's a bit higher than last year, which is good news. This adjustment is based on how much everyday costs go up, specifically measured by something called the Consumer Price Index for Urban Wage Earners and Clerical Workers, or CPIW. It tracks the prices of things like food, housing, gas, and medical care. The Social Security Administration looks at this number during July, August, and September, and then compares it to the same time last year. If prices went up, your benefits do too. And here's a cool fact. Benefits can never go down even if prices do. They'll just stay the same until costs start climbing again. So, what does this actually mean for your check? Well, for the average retired worker, a 2.7% COLA could mean an extra about $54 each month. If you're a retired worker, your average monthly payment could go from about $2,000 to about $2,060. For spouses, it's an increase of about $26, taking their average check from about $950 to about $980. Survivors could see an extra about $43, bumping their average from about $1,570 to about $1,620. And disabled workers, they're looking at an increase of about $43 as well, moving from about $1,580 to about $1,620 on average. Why this bigger boost? Because the cost of essential stuff has been stubbornly high. We're talking about everything from the gas you put in your car to the rent or mortgage you pay, and even your grocery bill. Housing costs especially have been a huge driver, climbing consistently. Gas prices have been a roller coaster, and when it costs more to move goods, those higher costs show up in the stores. Food prices, though not as wild as before, are still way up from a few years ago. All these factors together push that CPIW higher, leading to a bigger COLA. The official word on the exact COLA number for 2026 will come out around October 15th, after the September inflation report drops. Mark your calendars. Now, for the second big change, if you're collecting Social Security benefits but haven't reached your full retirement age yet, you're going to be able to earn more money before your benefits get temporarily held back. A lot of people are surprised by this rule, but it's real. If you're working before your full retirement age and your income goes above certain limits, some of your Social Security payments can be withheld. Let's break it down. For this year, 2025, if you won't reach your full retirement age, you can earn up to about $23,400. Earn more than that, and Social Security holds back $1 of your benefits for every $2 you earn over the limit. If you will reach your full retirement age this year, the limit is higher, about $62,160. Exceed that, and they hold back $1 for every $3 you earn above it. The good news? Once you hit your full retirement age, this earnings test disappears completely. The great news for 2026 is that these limits are going up. The Social Security Administration is expected to announce that the lower limit will rise to about $24,360 and the upper limit will go up to about $64,800. This means you can work a little longer, earn a little more, and keep more of your Social Security benefits, which is a definite win for those who want to stay in the workforce longer. Again, expect the official announcement on these new limits around October 15th. And the third big change, it affects some higher income workers. If you're a high earner, you might owe a bit more in Social Security payroll taxes next year. This is another area where many Americans are misinformed. Nearly 74% of surveyed adults wrongly believe they pay Social Security taxes on all their income, and two-thirds think someone making $200,000 pays the same in Social Security taxes as a millionaire. That's not how it works. Social Security is mostly funded by payroll taxes, but there's a cap on how much of your income is actually taxed. For 2025, that limit is about $176,100. Any income you earn above that amount isn't subject to Social Security taxes. So, if you make $200,000, you pay the same amount of Social Security tax as someone making $2 million because everything above $176,100 isn't taxed. But this limit tends to increase over time, just like the other numbers we've discussed. For 2026, the Social Security Administration expects this maximum taxable earnings limit to rise to about $183,600. What does that mean for you? It means an extra about $7,500 of your income will now be subject to that payroll tax. Since the payroll tax rate for most employees is about 6.2%, some workers could end up paying an additional about $465 in Social Security taxes in 2026. The official figure for this updated limit will also be announced around October 15th. So, a COLA for benefits, higher earnings limits for those still working, and a higher tax limit for high earners. Sounds like a mixed bag, right? Well, here's where the double whammy comes in for many beneficiaries. While a COLA is great, it's often like playing catch-up, not getting ahead. The adjustment you receive in 2026 is based on inflation from mid-2025. That means you've already been dealing with higher prices for months, and the COLA is just helping you break even. The biggest issue is how Social Security calculates that COLA. They use the CPIW, which is designed to track the spending habits of working people. But guess what? Older Americans, especially retirees, spend their money differently. They often spend a much larger chunk of their income on things like healthcare and housing, and less on transportation. The problem is that housing and medical care costs have been climbing even faster than the overall COLA. For example, the buying power of a Social Security dollar actually fell by about 20% between 2010 and 2024. So even with a raise, your Social Security check might not buy as much as it used to for your specific needs. This means that for many seniors, despite the COLA, their purchasing power continues to shrink. And here's the second punch of that double whammy: Medicare Part B premiums. Most people on Social Security who also have traditional Medicare have their Part B premium automatically deducted from their monthly benefit. And these premiums are expected to shoot up significantly in 2026. According to official estimates, the Part B premium could jump by about 11.5%, going from around $185 a month to more than $206 a month. Ouch. For many, a big chunk of that Social Security COLA increase will immediately be eaten up by a higher Medicare premium, leaving you with little net gain. It's a tough situation, right? You get a raise, but other critical costs rise right alongside it, sometimes even faster. And looking at the bigger picture, the Social Security program itself faces long-term challenges. While today's workers pay into the system to support current retirees, demographic shifts mean fewer workers are paying in for each person receiving benefits. This means that without some changes from Congress, the Social Security trust funds are projected to start running low by the mid-2030s. At that point, the system would still be able to pay about 80% of promised benefits through ongoing tax revenue, but not the full amount. Higher COLAs, while necessary for beneficiaries, can also accelerate the timeline for these trust fund issues. So, what should you do with all this information? First, keep your expectations in check. These are still projections, and the final numbers will be announced in October. Don't make big financial decisions based on estimates. Second, take this as a sign to really look at your budget. See where your costs have gone up and where that COLA money will make the most difference for you. Third, remember that Medicare offset. Mentally subtract that potential Part B premium increase from your COLA to get a realistic picture of your extra income. And finally, stay informed. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your financial future. Social Security is a cornerstone of financial stability for millions of Americans, and these annual adjustments, even with their challenges, are crucial. They show that the system is working to keep up with the changing economy. By understanding these shifts, you can make smarter choices and feel more secure about your money. All right, that's it for today's essential update. If you found this information helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more financial insights, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on critical news like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.